As fans, this is going to be a bit of a long one. I've decided to put this together. It's going to be a bit of a long one. It's going to be about the running. Um, and if you're wondering why there was no review of the game on Saturday, I just want to apologise for not getting that out. Really, I could barely breathe through my nose. I was really, really struggling on that day, so I had to give the review a miss. But I did try and record this video last week, but again, it came down to, again, just not really being able to get the words out properly due to whatever this head cold is that I've got. So this one, like I said, is about the running of the Mariners and what we have got to look forward to with the remaining games left in this season. So, as we know, though, this has been a very strong season for the Mariners. Very strong. Lively and we probably excelled expectations, and the expectations continue as we head into the last 8 games of the campaign. Now, the next 8 games consist of 3 home matches and 5 away. Now that, for other teams, would probably go, oh no. For us, our away form has been really, really good this season. And so the games remaining for the Mariners are Colchester United away. That happens on Friday. There will be a review coming up for that. A preview coming up for that. And there will be a review of that after Friday night. We've also got to go to Crewe next Tuesday before we host Morecambe. We go to Harrogate. We host Swindon. We go to Port Vale before we finish against Wimbledon. And we go to MK Dons as well. What I want to basically focus on, really, is the 5 away games that we have. And there really is a mix of, in a lot of ways, tough games as well. I mean, if we look at the first game away, which is on Friday, Colchester, they have been on a flying run, okay. They got bashed up in their last game against Bradford, but they're on real good form going in this. They're going to believe in something, that they can get something. Going to be away from home. You always feel like we can take something, so it's important because it's almost before a lot of the teams play this weekend, we could solidify a playoff place if we were to get the win. But that's going to be a difficult trip on Friday night. They've got some good players at Colchester, and the Cowleys have got, they've got the minus touch in a way, haven't they, for this sort of level. If we move further into April, in fact, the very next game, it's Crewe away, and this is what I mean by playoff credentials. Crewe, again, another team where, as it stands at the moment, Crewe lying 9th, they're only a point back. Colchester and Crewe in the next 2 league games. I mean, if that won't, show you the playoff strength, then what won't? Like I said, with the Colchester thing, 5 wins from the last 6 with Crewe. They've only had 1 defeat in their last 6, 3 draws, and it's a difficult place to go to, Crewe. Last season we went there and actually got a very good 3-0 win, but it's just showing you away from home how important some of our games could easily be, how difficult the games are. I mean, Colchester and Crewe back to back, ridiculous. Then we've got what you would technically class as the easier or the easiest probably away trip coming on paper, which is Harrogate. And the reason why that is because at the moment, you're looking at strength and you class it as a banger because at the minute Harrogate are in 21st place. They're not gonna go down, I don't believe. But their season could be over by then. So it could be easier, but it also could be harder. It's we went there last season and got turned over. We're just hoping that we don't this time, because it's again they haven't had a great run of form, Harrogate, but again any away game is always tough. So even though Harrogate may not be in the best league position, I think David Artell and the boys are going to know that they're going to have to work hard, because Harrogate is probably, I'm going to say this, probably the toughest of the 5 away games that we've got, because really they're not really going to be playing for anything, more than likely. So it does make those games probably slightly more difficult than others. And also in the running, we also have to go to promotion chasing Port Vale, so another promotion rival. Obviously, as I've recorded this, they've just played this evening, and like I said, playing against a team that probably hasn't got an awful lot to play for in Barrow, they lost that match. So it's kind of showing you that just because you might be playing teams, that could very easily, you could easily get turned over if you don't switch on. That could possibly be a playoff decider. That, there's some big away games as well. Like I said, difficult game Port Vale is. Difficult away trip to take. On that's Easter Monday, so that's not like the easiest of we've done it over Christmas, done it Easter, but that's sort of showing you the calibre of away games that we have left. Our final away game is against a team that will have nothing really to play for by this point. MK Don's been very, very disappointing over their season, and a trip you'd expect Grimsby to sort of win and fulfil over that over the period, but I think still you have to respect the opposition. I've also watched them as of the recording of this video. I did watch them in the 2-2 draw with Carlisle that they did go ahead twice and have been picked back twice. Obviously by that point, which is on the 26th of April when we play MK Dons, their season will probably be wrapped up by then, really, because again, they're a club that has under underperformed definitely this season, um, but you know their managers going to want to finish as good as they can. Um, Hopefully, we'll still be chasing something come then, uh, and that is our final away trip of the season at MK Dons. So if you look at those 5 games, you know we've got 3 out of the 5 are playoff contenders in in Crewe, in Colchester, in Port Vale. It's like this is a difficult running, and then you've got 2 games against 2 teams that are probably not really playing for much apart from pride, which can make them tricky in itself because they're kind of in a no lose territory. Playing for pride can actually make them just as tough. So this will definitely show sort of where we are come the end of that. So I think the away games though with Town's form, I am going to do a little bit of a stat which may shock some people. It surprised me when I saw this, but it's a difficult running away, but it's one that we should thrive on because, like I said at this point, nobody thought we'd be here. If you actually look at the remaining 3 home games that the Mariners have got, we've got probably a favourable last 3 at home because we don't play home now until April the 5th, where we host Morecambe. Morecambe are bottom of the league, 7 points from safety at the moment, but could so easily be relegated by the time, even close to being relegated, by the time we play Morecambe. Who knows? But again, it's a game you've got to appreciate, but it is classed as an easier tie to try and get 3 points. Then we're at home on Good Friday when we host Swindon. Now, obviously, that's in Holloway, Swindon. They turned us over in the reverse fixture, which I think you're going to say pissed every single Gunsbury Town fan off that you can imagine. And to know that Holloway will be stepping back to Blundell Park, I think that's one game that maybe at the minute the Town fans want to win so much for other reasons than just the points. I think as fans, I think we just want to get one over on Holloway. But also, if we look at it from the football perspective, it'll be a strong start to the Easter weekend, and by that point we will only have 4 games remaining, including that one. So, it'd probably be important for both ways. For the fans, I think, to get a win over Holloway, but also to hopefully keep ourselves going in this playoff charge. And hopefully by then we'll see where we are. And the final home game of the season, and hence why I say important, it's Wimbledon at home. And that could be a sort of like a playoff decider in itself. Wimbledon are obviously going for automatic promotion, but they'll also want to make sure they have playoffs at least as a backup. If they can't break the top 3, it's that game. If there's something on that match, I can only imagine what the atmosphere at Blundell Park is going to be like for that game. The Swindon game, I can see it being a strong atmosphere for another reason. Obviously, the Holloway feelings. shall we say. But the Wimbledon one would definitely be a difficult, strong, loud atmosphere. I say difficult because Wimbledon will probably be playing for something, and we're more likely, hopefully, going to be playing for something. If we can take this to the last game where we're playing for something, then, that atmosphere is going to be absolutely banging at Blundell Park. Everyone who's anyone will want to be there on May the 3rd to play Wimbledon. Now, how many points do I think Town need to get? How many points do I think we need? Again, I think it's down to wins. Again, if we're talking about goal difference, that is not going to get us in the playoffs. Absolutely not. Honestly, I think you've got to be looking at 5 wins from the last 8 to realistically solidify us. Other teams around it may not take 5 wins, but I think for us to do it, I think we can probably only afford to lose 2 between now and the end of the season. Because this running it's a nice running in one aspect. I think it's a nice running because we're all playing teams that are playing for something, which I think makes it a nice running. And the 2 tricky games, such like Harrogate and Swindon, where they aren't really an MK Dons, those 3 games, they're not really playing for anything, which makes it harder. So actually, I think the harder games, quote unquote, are the 3 teams that aren't really in the playoff mix as much, and 2 of those aren't in at all. So I think they're the ones that we have to be the most focused on. But the other 5 games, these are massive. If Town can get another playoff campaign in after a season that we had last year, I mean, you can't look at that as anything other than an astounding achievement. Especially with coming up to 3.5, 4 years of the owners being here to actually say that, for it's only really been one season where Town haven't really been in the mix of something. But really, it's the only one of the 3 full seasons that they've been in charge where we haven't been top half of the league. So you have to give the owners credit as well as David Artell and the players as well. But it's a difficult running, it's a tough running, but I also say it's a nice running because I think the best thing to be is probably away for a majority of the games may help Grimsby in this. I think we need at least 15 points, so at least 5 wins, but I think we can only afford to lose 2 if we're going to realistically stand a chance of getting in there. That's not putting pressure on the lads, that's just what I think we're going to need to do. So probably draw 5, lose 2 and draw 1 we can probably afford to do. But there it is. Now, one interesting stat while I'm going through this running, everyone was always saying Grimsby are in a haven't been that good at home or haven't been that good, away. I read this stat a couple of days ago and it absolutely stunned me, if I'm totally honest. Grimsby's record overall is, would you believe it, as good away from home as it is at home. Grimsby have played 18 games away from home. They've won 9, they've drew 2, and they've lost 7. Town's home form is played 20, won 9, drew 3, lost 8. That technically means Town, by one result, are slightly better at home than they are away from home. It kind of amazes me because away from home, would you believe it, in the last 5 away games, Town have won 3, drew 1 and lost 1. The home form have been won 2, drew 1 and lost 2. Is the home form. So, but if you look at it overall, yes, we played 2 less games away from home, but we're actually marginally, pretty much by a result, by a draw pretty much, we have a better home record than away record. But you couldn't really get nearly as even of a record as that. Won the same amount of games at home and away, drew 1 more game at home than we have away, and only lost 1 more game at home than we have away, but we have played 2 less away from home, hence the last 5 games, which I thought was quite a staggering stat because everyone was saying not being so good at home and not being, I'm sat there thinking we're near enough exactly the same record. So thinking, are we as good or as bad? Well, we are the same. We are exactly the same. So, have we been? Have a lot of us? Excuse me, as I sit up there. Have we all been wrong over the last season? Maybe, because that stat surprised me. So far, we've played 38 games. We've won 18 of them, drew 5, and lost 15. That is our overall record. But our overall record away, this is an interesting stat as well. We've scored 25 goals and we've conceded 25 goals in 18 games. In the home form, we've scored 27 goals and conceded 29. So we've actually got a worse defence at home, but a better record at home. So that is quite sort of shocking during realising. We actually overall again, will this be humble pie for me? Probably. We have not actually been all that bad. When people said we need to be better at home, we've been just as good at home, if not a point better off at home, than we were away. So all this talk about home form not being great, technically, people, it's better at home than away. But I think we've had the bigger results away from home, and that's what makes the away form look better. But I think that's a phenomenal stat, and I'll give the credit down to Footy Stats for that, to give me that information. I'm looking up from them, so thank you to them for that stat, which I was, like I said, I was finding out. So interesting. We're about level home and away. Like I said, what we need to do if we're going to get in these playoffs, we need to win the games, because our compared to everyone else in the top 10, our goal difference is atrocious, and that we've got to counteract that by winning games. Our goal scoring ratio is good. It's 1.37 scored per game. Goals conceded, though, is quite poor, with 1.42, which has always been one of the biggest flaws of Grimsby's of our season. So the running is tough, but exciting, because most of the big games aren't come. I think the tougher games are the ones against the teams that aren't really challenging. But it's like, it's so good to be in a situation where maybe having 5 away games could be a blessing. Who knows? So we will wait and see on that. Leave your comments down below on what you think of the running. Where do you think we need to get the points from? Where do you think we will get the points from? And do you think with the running we've got, 5 away games and 3 home games, do you think we can get enough to squeak a playoff place? A lot of people are saying it's going to go down between us and Colchester, who might even bump a couple of teams out of the playoffs and get in there ourselves anyway. Let me know how many points you also think Grimsby Town are going to need from the last 8 games to get in there. I'm saying 17. And I say 17 because of our goal difference. That's the only reason why I say so many. Could it be less? Of course it could be less. But to guarantee ourselves a playoff place, I'm going to say 17. But maybe 10, maybe 12 might do it. But I'd say 17 points to be certain. And but let me know in your comments down below how many points we need, and are you looking forward to this running? I am, to see what comes off, and I'll be previewing everything reviewing everything between now and May the 4th. Obviously May the 3rd when we play Wimbledon. We'll then find out where we are and whether our season will continue. Before I finish this video, I do want to give a big shout out to the Grimsby Town ladies, and on a very, very successful season. They played their final game of the season last Sunday. Came away with a 6-1, I believe it was, win. The ladies have done fantastic this season. Great to see them doing so well and performing great guns for them. So should I cover a little bit more about the women next season? I might do. In fact, I think I will do. I'll even try and get to a few of the ladies' games next season and actually watch them and see what they can do. So congratulations on a great season for the ladies, and Beth Wharton has been an immense player for them during the 16 goals I think she got. No, 35 goals I think it was she got. And so I devalued there, Beth, sorry. But cracking season for Beth. Cracking season for the women. They've definitely done our bad proud this season. So well done to them. And also, just one final thing, like I said, this end of the season is getting close. I very nearly, have to admit, considered stopping the videos. I'm not going to, only out of just the regularity of them. and sometimes some of the standard of them. But I've decided that I'm going to carry on, get through this, and come back stronger next season with better videos for you on the Mariners. So that did come across my mind, was do I stop? Especially with the performance of the last couple of my videos. I haven't been doing that great. So, that did come across my mind. But I think I'm going to carry on and try and make the videos better for you fans, and probably get some stronger interactions with you guys in the upcoming season as well. But anyway, this is the running video. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know down below on what you think about this upcoming running and upcoming situation. Can the Mariners make a playoff place? I didn't think I'd be saying that this time last year. I think any Mariners fans would have said that. Leave my thoughts. Well, you can always leave my thoughts. Leave your thoughts down below on, like I said, how many points you think the Mariners will need, how many wins that may entail, and let me know down below. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I will be back. It'll be the next little while, in the next day or so, for the preview for Friday night's game at Colchester, when it's a battle of the playoff teams, isn't it, really? So I'll be back with that. I'll see you guys then in that video, and any other breaking news that comes out of the Mariners over the next few days and next few weeks. Stick here with me, and I will take you through everything, and any information other that I can gain, I will give that to you. In the meantime, guys, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you for the Colchester preview. Until then, I shall bid you adieu, and I will see you in the next one. Up the Mariners. 8 to go. Let's go.